John Higgins, 17 world ranking titles to his credit, over $7 million in career prize money, and a CV that includes world, UK and Masters titles. The Scot is one of snooker's most reliable, most skilled, most respected players. But his opponent in the final of the 888.com World Championship isn't well known. Mark Selby had to qualify merely to be in the 32-man field. He's 23, ranked number 28 in the world, and he's yet to prevail in a pro event. These two have met only twice before, both times right here at the Crucible. Higgins beat Selby 10-5 in the first round in 2005. Selby caused a major upset by scoring a 10-4 victory in their rematch 12 months ago. This time it's the best of 35 frames for the silverware. Higgins unconvincingly won the opening two, but Selby has just broken his duck as we join frame 4. In the commentary box, it's Dennis Taylor and Clive Everton.
Slow progress thus far. The first 3 frames have taken an hour and a half of playing time.
He can't see an easy return to the baulk area, so he's just looking at coming off the side cushion and into the side of the bunch there. Don't think the yellow's in the way. Well, maybe he's coming off 2 cushions. Maybe the yellow is in the way from the 1 cushion escape, so he's just going to the top cushion here. And this looks pretty good. Well,
foul and a miss.
Seemed to straighten up there.
Foul. John Higgins 4.
It's not the enough he's bothered about, it's the fact that he's left an easy red starter.
Foul.
I don't think he can screw over behind the black. He may have to play for the blue here. That may not be on.
One.
Not bad.
6.
Slight kick there, but I think he's just gone past being straight on the blue, so he can play for the red that's near the cushion. Play this with a lot of topspin and left-hand side. He could even go into the bunch, but he may play for that loose red.
12.
But it's not going to be easy to get from the black into the reds. There may be 1 at the back that's available. If it is, that would be a big help. And if it isn't available, he needs to get the cannon here.
John Higgins, 13.
Missed the black, and now he's glad that he didn't open the bunch.
But how does the black stay there? It usually wobbles and runs away from the pocket. Look, let's have a look at this. Doesn't usually stay there at that pace.
He looks tired. There's a hint of red about the eyes. The best pot of the match so far.
And this is a bit of a chance. He's got an angle on the green, right hand side. He could open them here. He's overdone it.
Four.
It hasn't really taken off yet. This final, highest break, 38 by Mark Selby. John Higgins is 37. It will get better.
Mark Selby, 4.
Sometimes you just want to get the session over and settle down. Both players a little bit tired after the semi-finals, but win the scrappy ones and then wait for it all to take off. And it will do, because they've both played fantastic throughout this tournament.
Yes, sometimes it's not your best standard that's important. It's the standard you never fall below.
Well, you can clearly see it goes directly into the pocket. If he hits it a bit thick, it'll go in off the black. He played one on the left side of the table where he put a red in off the black, and it was a terrific shot that helped him on his way to victory against Sean Murphy.
One.
Not the position he was hoping for, though.
Mark Selby, 1.
But from that angle, that was a very good shot to get so tight behind the yellow. This is like the centre court of Wimbledon for snooker folk.
Foul and the miss.
It's where all the greatest matches are played.
Well, that was a poor attempt to nestle into the reds there from John.
One.
And if Mark Selby can go to the mid-session interval at 2 frames all, I'll tell you, he will be more than pleased.
I think he will also be pleased and surprised
8.
that Higgins hasn't played better.
Now just watch this next shot. He'll leave himself on possibly 3 reds. It'll be the one at the back of the bunch he's playing for, but watch the white. Now if you overscrew it, you've got the 2 in the right corner, but He's coming around to have a look at one into that
16.
right corner, but he did play for the one that's at the back of the bunch. But just shows you always leaving yourself options.
$17.
That's a good choice, the way he's pointed the tip of the cue. If he can cannon that red that he pointed at, it will open the whole frame up, and he's guaranteed to be on a red, even if it doesn't work out for him. See, he slipped past it, he didn't get the cannon, still on the 2 reds. If he gets the cannon, he opens up
24.
those 4 reds. He only needed a little nudge on that. Just missed it, but the other 2 were always available.
$25.
Could play the same shot here.
He played the cannon again there, didn't quite get into it. He's left it awkward now.
32.
Now watch the cannon. If he hits it just slightly to the right of the red, instead of just on the left side, he would have been perfect. This is awkward now. He's going to need the rest with an extension on it, an extension on his cue. That's if he's going to take on the pot he was looking at there. And that's the shot he's deciding on. It's a bit of a free shot because he will be going back up the table.
Very unlikely that that shot could have been played with that delicacy, but for the invention of extensions on the cue, he wouldn't have been doing that with one of the old half butts.
It would have been shaking all over the place with the long tackle that kept at the side of the table.
$38. $39.
I think the 3 reds, the back one of the 3 is available into the right corner, so we can run round off 2 cushions here, playing this with top spin and right of striking there, as you can see. How's the pace of the white? It looks pretty good to me.
46.
And he will nudge the other 2 reds and develop them here, but got to make sure he gets possibly on the blue.
47.
And that's going a little bit too far, is it? It may have to be the green now, but he's developed all 3 reds.
This is the best sustained break we've seen so far this afternoon.
50.
And if he can sustain it for another 3 or 4 shots, he'll have the frame in the bag.
Yes, and I think John Higgins, Clive, will be heading straight to the practice room because he has been out of touch here. Although he won the 2 opening frames, he was overhitting his little screw shots. He's definitely struggling a bit. So to the practice room just to get that cue action going.
58. 59.
We believed that John Higgins would be
66.
less affected by his previous exertions than Mark Selby, but Selby has certainly settled in this frame.
67.
Higgins, although he won the first 2, didn't do anything to write home about.
'67 on frame.
Had the pink gone in, there would have been a chance for a century, but Mark Selby isn't too bothered about that. His 67 secured the frame as he levels at 2-all at the mid-session interval.
The plan, really, of a lot of these sessions is just try and win the session. If you can win the first 3 sessions, you'd be well on your way to victory. But that was a very poor shot, that, from Mark. Gave it lots of thought and just run the red straight into the brown. Don't know what he was thinking of there.
Hasn't made a break of 30 since the second frame. Now it's time to get involved in the match again. He's let it slip away at the moment.
1.
Perfect angle on the blue should he want to go into the pink, but John Higgins is unlike Hendry or O'Sullivan. Sometimes he tends to pick the loose reds off. Hendry or O'Sullivan, and regardless, he'll be straight into the pink here, and there's another example. Didn't want to play it. Not saying it's the wrong shot, it's just player's preference. But the fact that he's left it low is got
6.
things to do with the cue ball now. He's going to have to run through at pace to get on the black. There's always different ways of break building, and there's a prime example of, you know, we sometimes suggest he should have gone into them, but John finished low on that red, and he's brought 4 reds into play with that run through and finished perfect.
'14. 15. 22.
'That's right into the heart of the pocket. Similar
23.
scenario to a few moments ago. I think he may attempt to go into the pink this time purely because he hasn't got a loose red near the black, and this all came from a Mark Selby poor safety, which we'll get a chance to show you in a minute, that left John this opening. There you go, just a little delicate shot into the pink. This was Mark Selby's safety when he was trying to get through the gap of both
28.
brown and green and hit the brown full ball. And we've got a chance to show with Orkai what he was trying to do, you see, through the gap there, get the cue ball in behind the green or brown, push the red up to this end. See, it's easy after the event, but that's what he tried. Another shot pushed through the pack to finish nicely on the black.
29. $36. Turn it off, please.
Your mobile phone.
37.
Williams stands for no messing.
Can't quite understand the point of
44.
telling him to turn it off. Did you think the person was going to leave it ringing?
$45. Yeah, okay.
Well, that was a nice little flick off the red.
52.
There was a chance it could have gone wrong. But he's finished perfect now, and you wouldn't expect him to make any mistakes. 52 points to lead. Just watch, he just flicks this red. I thought it was going to be a bit narrow, but he just flicked off it and left himself perfect.
$53.
You'll have to give John Higgins credit here, John, I believe, having been kept off the table for 5 frames and only 2 30-odd breaks. This is a good performance to stamp his authority back into this match.
Yeah, so obviously a little bit of tension in the arm and just not relaxed. But I think
60.
probably Mark Selby making a century break in that last frame has just kicked John into gear. He must have been sat there thinking, well, hang
61.
on, come on, you've got to raise your game here.
$68. $69.
Knowledgeable crowd here at the Crucible knew that that was frame ball, and the blue will just underline that fact. So there you see it, 74 ahead, 67 remaining.
74.
A rather pedestrian
75.
start to this match, but it's picked up a bit now. All players will be feeling a lot better with the game.
An amazing stat really as well, John. He's made 80 Crucible centuries in his career.
81.
I mean, 90% of the pros haven't made 80% in any tournament.
82.
It could be 358, John, of his career as well.
$89. 90.
And it's funny, when we got to the quarterfinals and we were looking at I think it was 2002, 68 century breaks, and we were thinking, well, that's no way that's going to be beat this year. But since the quarterfinals, when they recovered the tables,
97.
the scoring has been frightening. Oh dear, what a pity.
On the frame, John
Well, no
Higgins.
century, but he'll feel a lot happier after that contribution with John Higgins. He levels the match, 3 frames apiece.
Higgins finally showing his usual fluency, and it was soon 5-3 to the man trying to provide the 12th Scottish win in the World Championship. As for words of wisdom, Mr. Thorne now has Dennis Taylor for company.
Well, the double kiss has only left one possible red, the one he double kissed. The rest are all safe. He started very slowly, John, Willie, didn't he? But he looked pretty good towards the back end of the session.
Started as slow as I've ever seen him in the final, Dennis, to be honest, and amazingly won the first 2 frames with a high break of only 37. Mark Selby went 3-2 in front, and then John really played a lot better. Pot success. Higgins is in front 91-88. Tough opening red this though. But as long as he's not straight on the black, should it go in, should be able to get into the bunch. Got a nice angle. The one directly above the black, that's the one he needs to hit full ball and just push it through. If he screws it, he will be on nothing. This is the first pot ball of this evening, or potted ball of this evening. This is not guaranteed to work out nicely, this one. He's 50-50 being on the ball here. Not a great pack. That's always a problem. He's going to rely on the one in the middle. Now, he's been very fortunate. Take that red away, he's on nothing, and that's the problem when you're going into a bunch like that. You've got to stun into them, not screw. There you see John screwed into them. That's why the cue ball came back. But fortunately for him, the red went over the middle.
9.
Beautifully played, that one. Very well controlled. Just a
14.
delicate little cannon onto those 2 reds. I did the first 4 frames of the session, and to be fair, both players looked quite exhausted, but they looked pretty fit this evening. And John starting to look good towards the back end of the match, as we said, at the back end of the session.
22.
I love watching John Higgins break build because of say the top 6 or 7 players in the game. He tends to break build slightly different to those. A lot of times you see John picking off reds. The other top 5 or 6 players go into them as early as possible and get them spread far and wide. John Higgins tends
23.
to break the way that the older players used to break, where he just picked a few out at a time. You know, the Ray Reardon style. Obviously a lot more consistent in the break building, it goes without saying.
Well, he could play the cannon, but look at the way he's playing it. He's just playing to run the white through. And I think that's a typical example there, Willie. A lot of the players would cannon those 2 reds, opened the bunch up. He was guaranteed to be on one, but John does it his way. It's a little bit like watching Ray Reardon. This is how he used to break build.
That was an absolute prime example, Dennis, wasn't it? Any one of the other
31.
top 5 or 6 had gone straight into the 2 reds that Dennis mentioned, and he hasn't.
Yeah, this was the shot where he
36.
just ran through, found the gap, played for the single red. But he is one of the greatest break builders the game's ever seen. Stephen Hendry way out in front in that department. Ronnie O'Sullivan the nearest to Stephen Hendry, and John Higgins third with I think it's 351 centuries now.
And one of the amazing stats in those centuries, Dennis, he's made over 80 at the Crucible. I mean, that's just incredible.
Yes, the year he won it in 1998 against Ken Doherty. He set a record. He made 14 centuries that year. Stephen Hendry overtook him with 16 a few years later.
Another example here, you see, if John Higgins had played the shot we suggested quite a long while ago, he wouldn't have now have to risk playing a cannon, but this time he's got no option. And I just wonder if these go safe, whether you think that maybe the aggressive way is the best. It's strange, isn't it, how different players play. Now has he got on a red? He's on one, but that's the kind of split he would have got some 4 or 5 shots ago. But I agree with Dennis, undoubtedly one of the game's all-time greats, and you could never ever suggest he break builds wrong, because the record he has is fantastic.
How well did he hit that one? He never dreamt he would go past the ball colours. Of course, when you screw back off another red, it creates a little bit more pace. But watch the side, the reverse side. Watch the white as it hits the cushion, spins off, and he's still got the brown in the middle pocket though, and the angle to get to the reds. He's overhit this by quite a way. He played to leave the red next to the
55
black there. He was hoping to finish somewhere in the circle, and he had a nice easy red. He's still got a pot on, but not quite as comfortable now.
This is one of those you'd love to play up for one of the bought colours. I think he might even decide against the red, purely because he would leave them on should he miss. Just wonder whether he's going to push a red on the cushion and play safe. He's looking at the potting angle again. Needs to get past the blue spot area if he's playing this, because you'd be leaving a red on otherwise. Got to be careful here. This will stay on the jaws if he misses it. Played it nicely. Played it nicely.
56.
Maybe could and should go on to win the frame now. That was an excellent shot.
$61. $62.
This could spell danger for Mark Selby, the way John Higgins has started here. I think Mark knows that if he does get a chance now, he's going to have to produce the sort of snooker
69.
he did in his previous matches. He's well capable of doing it. He's made 11 centuries here.
$70.
It's such an intimate theatre, the Crucible. They're so close to the action.
$75.
Well, no
Higgins,
century
75
break,
on the frame.
but what a start from John Higgins. That was a terrific effort of 75, and it takes him one more frame ahead. He now leads 6-3.
Higgins quickly added frame 10 with a 70 break. He leads 7-3, and suddenly it's beginning to look a little bleak for Selby.
No, it was always going to go to the right side of the pocket,
Mark
and
Selby,
that was a very
24.
risky one. I think he was so disappointed at getting the heavy contact, but that didn't quite look on.
One.
Yes, it worries me a little bit, Dennis, because we showed on the camera facing the shot that Mark, he virtually had to play it with a little bit of check side to help the pot there. He couldn't pot it plain ball, and it was just frustration there because of the kick. And there's still many frames. It's the first one to 18 needs to win
6.
this match, so there's no need to panic yet. That was a bit of a panic, that shot, and he's got a great temperament. That's the first time this week I've seen him probably
7.
rush into something and not really think about it. First time this week.
Yeah, okay.
I think John's just going to have the white cleaned here. Not because he got a kick there. It's a little bit, you get a bit paranoid about the kick, and then some players will have the ball cleaned before they play a certain type of shot, and that shouldn't be the case in the game. Never happened years ago. You see, that's exactly the type of shot that for some reason you tend to get a kick on when you're just running through.
When he gets rid of this red, we know that the black will be available then in both pockets. I think
21.
the pink's available in the corner, so if he doesn't fancy just dropping it in for the black, he can run up for the pink in the opposite corner. Looks like he can hold for the black if he wants to.
22.
It's the loneliest seat in the world when you're going through a spell in your matches, Den. We've all been there where we've sat there and you're really frustrated with yourself, you get anxious with yourself, and
29.
you're sitting there now and have to stew about what's happened.
Yeah, I don't know what Mark's thinking about at the moment, but he's a very positive young man. I like his mental attitude, and I think that is partly the reason he's in this final. He's got all the skill and ability in the world, but mentally he's pretty strong. But he's up against one of the best we've ever had in John Higgins, the ultimate match player.
36.
John Higgins' name is on there. There's lots of names on that illustrious trophy.
$37.
The balls
44.
couldn't have been better placed. Just a series of little stun run-throughs. Not having to let the white travel very far.
45.
Just the 2 of the 3 reds needed to make it 6 on the trot. I'd just like to see his demeanour in the chair look a little bit more positive.
51.
You know, he's just looking a little bit sorry for himself at the minute. He's having the best 2 weeks of his life. Hopefully Newcastle Palmer will have a little chat with him at the interval and try and get him thinking more clearly.
52.
Yeah, his good friend you mentioned there, Willie, was a professional player also, wasn't he?
Yes, he's a good player, Mukesh, and managed snooker clubs and good coach. But he's also
59.
helped Mark with his mindset in the game, and at this moment in time it definitely needs a little bit of a rub down. He just needs a little bit of talking to at the minute to say, come on, you're still in this game.
60.
Applause for game ball.
That's not a bad positional shot, is it?
65.
Just had a little way to travel there to get onto this red. That type of shot there is touch.
56.
At that particular type of shot is terrific.
$73. $75.
If he does complete a century here, it will be his 9th of the tournament.
78.
And 65th century of this year's 888 World Championship.
82.
And 81 for him at the Crucible. Incredible
87.
record.
$93.
So that kick proving very costly. Mark Selby tried a difficult red, he didn't get it, he had to sit in his seat and watch John Higgins compile that magnificent century break to extend his lead to 8 frames to 3.
Higgins now firmly on course for the sport's most coveted title. Selby in deepening trouble.
As he fluked it, oh, would you believe it?
1.
He took a big risk with that pot. He knew if he missed it, he would probably lose the frame. And to fluke it in the other corner, amazing. What a fluke this was.
8.
But his last positional shot, he seemed to come off the cushion quite quick with the cue ball.
Good recovery, and if the cue ball bounces through the
9.
gap, it's quite easy to get onto the 2 reds, but it's not come through the gap. So he may not play any sort of pot. He'll play the tuck in behind either the yellow or, sorry, the brown or the green. 46 points behind still. Mark Selby still favourite, but can't afford another mistake.
Don't think it's 9.
And he went so gently into the green to block off the path down the right side of the table to get into that red near the pink. It's quite a tough snooker to hit now, in fact. Three cushions, very difficult to judge. It's a pretty good effort.
Wow, and a miss.
Well, the miss called.
John Higgins 4.
It was a tough escape. John thinks that he may be able to pot this and hold for the black. Maybe not. He's too close to the red. It's such a long way to travel, this. That's the sort of line he's looking at. And he's got to hit three cushions. But he did get close. I think he may have left the red this time.
John Higgins 4.
Just hit it a little too hard there, and the side went a lot wider, and this is a real chance for John Higgins to pinch his frame and really dent Mark Selby's confidence even more. They may flick off the other red and bring the pink into play here as well. Well, didn't do that time, but these are in a perfect position for a clearance. Could play the kiss on the red now. Doesn't want to hit the pink. You can see how Mark Selby's dejection was there as he looked at the position he'd left the balls. John may decide to play a little slow cannon on the red. He's just looking to see if the red pots next to the pink, and then he might not play the cannon. But we'll know whether this red is available. The cannon's the shot if the red's not available. Cannon's the one he's played, and played it perfectly. Played it perfectly. Even though he's
6.
plenty of points behind his favourite.
7. $13.
Wow, what a body blow this will be. Mark looked odds-on favourite to take this final frame of this session before we go to the interval. And one good positional shot here. If he screws back, you can see he's not going to go into the middle pocket. He'll just miss that about a foot below it and come off the cushion, finish on the yellow. Now, has he gone too far? That looks to be okay to me.
20.
You always get body blows in any match where you lose a frame that you should definitely win. The fact that he lost the previous 6 frames on the trot, this will be a huge body blow.
22. $25. $29.
Has he overrun it a little bit? Hold on to your horses. It's not over just yet, this frame mark. Now this has to be played to perfection.
34.
He's got to play a very delicate shot to hold for the black. Somewhere near those lines would get him there. Well, he's played it off one cushion, and that's just about perfect.
40.
Well, John Higgins looked out of form this afternoon. He's certainly in form this evening. Those 4 frames, he played excellent snooker, and he's gone further clear and now leads by 9 frames to 3.
No doubt to his great relief, Selby shaded frame 13 on the pink, but as we pick up play again, Higgins holds a commanding 11-4 lead.
Well, he's played a containing safety, but this red closest to the cue ball go to the left middle. Well, if it does, and it obviously does, you know that John Higgins is not going to refuse an opportunity like this. Now, this is tricky. This is really tricky, but he's one of those players, John, when he sees a chance, he fully commits. Superb.
One.
The only word for it, superb.
Higgins has overhit that one though.
6.
Somehow or other though, even if he doesn't get his intended position, he seems to drop on something.
Well, absolutely, as you say, he overhit it, but just rubbed past the red and left it onto the left middle. It needed a good pot, but he got it. But always seems to be an alternative. And when you're behind and struggling, you never seem to get that kind run of the ball. But people do say you make your own running.
Okay. 13. $14.
Yes, Higgins has had a few kind runs of the ball. But,
21.
He's taken full advantage of them.
$22.
By any standards, this has been a fine display of match play snooker.
Yeah, a little bit disgruntled there. That cue ball came off the cushion a little bit quicker than he thought. Thinner on the blue than was desired, but can still control the cue ball.
27.
Well, amazing things happen in snooker, but the way Higgins is going, it looks as if we might have run out of our supply of tight finishes for one championship. Both semi-finals went down to the wire. Higgins winning 17-15 over Stephen Maguire. Selby from 2 down
28.
with 3 to play over Sean Murphy. Selby also had to go the full distance in the quarterfinals against Alistair Carter.
$35. $36.
The popular phrase among snooker players these days, when a player has a chance to consolidate a big lead, is put your foot on his throat. And
43.
that's what Higgins is doing.
$44.
A little bit too straight on the blue, but it's not a problem. There's a couple of reds around the pink spot area, which is easy to get on. There you see it, 59
49.
points to lead, 67 remaining. Red and a colour needed. First to 18,
50.
of course, wins this great championship. And he's 2/3 of the way there now. Sure to be 12-4 overnight.
57. 58.
Nothing has gone right for Mark Selby, who briefly led 3-2. But he's won only one more frame subsequently.
64. 65.
John Higgins went to 8-3
71.
with a break of 100.
72.
He could finish off with another century here.
79. 80.
This has been an immensely
86.
solid display of match play snooker from John Higgins.
88.
Has scarcely made a mistake tactically.
91.
And he scored pretty heavily as well.
95. 100.
Higgins' 10th century of the tournament,
106 on the frame.
and
John
with that
Higgins.
break of 106, he leads Mark Selby by 12 frames to 4 overnight. It looks as if the title is heading north of the border again.
Mark Selby 4.
Well, what a chance now for Mark with that red up the other end of the table. He can place the white anywhere in the D area. You know, if you tried to play that shot at billiards, you could never get it. Now this is Mark's third chance in this opening frame this afternoon.
Six. 7.
15 in front. If he gets 2 reds and 2 blacks, that won't be enough. He'll need that
12.
difficult red.
13.
A delicate little shot here, just to stun the blue in and just slide up past the black, just to leave this one near the cushion that's behind the black spot. Anything but straight.
18.
Ideally, would like to screw back and leave the black in the same pocket, because that avails a better chance to either play the kiss on the red or drop in behind it. He needs an angle
19.
now. Now he's played that way, he's got to have an angle. If he doesn't have an angle, he can't get onto this red. Just about enough to drop behind it. Well played.
$26.
Yeah, well played, Mark Selby.
27.
It was so important to get nicely on the black, to drop in behind that red and make it as easy as possible.
$34. $34 on the
John
frame.
Higgins stays in his
Mark
seat,
Selby.
so everything going according to plan in the Mark Selby camp. He's took the opening frame.
One.
That's a pretty good shot. John Higgins didn't get the white as close to the back cushion here as he intended. That was why that red was potable. You could see how low he was hitting the white there, almost catching the cloth to create the backspin.
4.
There you can see him right down near the slit, and you could see the chalk mark as he played the shot and followed through with the cue. Just overdone it a little bit.
This is very tricky, because if you can just roll the black in and play for the one next to the blue, but he may decide to play the screw into the red and pink just to hold the cue ball, but don't give up the pot for the position. That's the key thing on these kind of things. But he's played it lovely. Whatever he gets now he deserves. He's played 2 or 3 very good shots in the opening part of this break. It's
12.
easy to slip away from that pink and red and go to the side cushion, but held it nicely.
$13.
There is a little point to be made. The player that is, quite a way behind, sometimes you just relax and you want to go out there and show what you can do, and show the people watching at home and the people here in the Crucible how well you can play the game. And maybe Mark has relaxed that little bit. And if he can take this second frame, well, he's on his way back.
$18.
I'm sure Mark's friends and colleagues had a chat with him about how during yesterday's second session he actually let his head drop a little bit. He seems to have come out today in a so much
19.
more positive mental attitude and looking like he was in the previous 17 days of this tournament.
That's a great shot of the Crucible as we zoom in towards the table. It's the perfect arena when you've got one table in the middle.
Was there any other venue then that gave you
24.
anything like the buzz of here?
There was actually, Willie. And it was the New London Theatre in
25.
Drury Lane. We used to play the Masters there, and it was a fantastic venue. It was there before it moved to Wembley back in the 70s.
At least 2 reds pot in the middle. There you see them just below the pink there. So he's playing the stun round 2 cushions and use that white to pull up a little bit. He may have slightly overran. I think the bottom one pots. I know the middle one of the 3 pots, but I presume
32.
the bottom one pots. Yes, it does. It does. Mark just getting down to look at the angle from behind the pocket to make sure. Mark's cue action is slightly different to other people's, Dennis. Is as you see, whatever kind of shots he plays, well, he's looking at a plant now, is he? This must be a certainty to even look at it. It was a certainty. To be sure, Dennis.
34.
One of yours, that mate.
He did well to spot the plant there.
Yes, I was just talking about his cue action. He seems to cue down a little bit more than most, and when he plays a screw shot, he seems to hit the cloth every time he plays it.
Yeah, he's quite a tall lad, Mark. He's about 6'3", but that was that screw shot where we could see the chalk on the cloth. Now we've got a very special camera here. Watch the follow through. Look how he pushes that through, and well, that's a great shot to show you the secret of the screw back shot is to follow through. That creates the backspin.
Yes, the longer you can follow through and keep with the tip, the more reaction you get. I thought a great exponent of that this week was Ali Carter, who was a 13-12 loss against Selby, and he gets so much action on the cue ball. Selby, 1 shot away from making this a frame winner. If he gets nicely on the colour here, he'll be disappointed not to have won the opening 2 frames. What did he do with the
42.
white?
Do you know, Willie, I think he had to play that beside to make the potting angle. Just looking at it, he was striking left of centre there, and that's why he didn't get the stun. He had to... See, look where he's hitting the white. He had to bend it around the other red.
Yeah, didn't spot that. That's why he couldn't play a stun. That's why he's left himself slightly more difficult on this pink than he should have done. And this is not absolutely perfect, but he should be okay. The bottom one of those 2 will pot.
$48.
Well, he nearly
49.
potted 2 reds again there, and I think that might have been a first. Never known a player to pot 2 reds with 1 shot and then in the same frame pot another 2, but he was close to doing it there.
Yeah, same frame, same break, and he was glad it didn't go in that red, because that's the red he appears to be able to get on from this pink. It would have actually been quite a tough positional shot bar for that red staying on the table.
55. $56.
It's been just over half an hour, Dennis, since John Higgins potted a ball. He obviously scored 36 points in the opening frame, but since then, Selby's replied with 73 points plus these 57.
Yeah, this is a terrific performance from the Leicester player. This is exactly what he would have wanted.
63.
And the fact that he's winning this second frame with 1 visit is more encouraging for him.
been a few years since that statement's been said, Dennis, from the Leicester player. And I'm so pleased we've got another couple of players coming through from Leicester, Joe Jagir and
69.
Tom Wollaston, and this Mark Selby is by far and away the best match player we've had for many, many years, and he's definitely, I think, going to be a future champion
70.
in some tournament or other. Whether it's this one or not remains to be seen.
Well, he's had a nice choice of colours there. A green, a couple of blues, 4 pinks, 3 blacks.
Could we have century number 12 from Mark Selby? Good chance now.
76.
And the shots he's played in this frame, I think he deserves a century. He's played this break very well indeed.
77.
Just the yellow's a little bit awkward with the brown
83.
situated as it is.
'84.
Yeah, he needs to get on it in such a way as he leaves it in the right corner pocket. If he can stun past the brown and into the circle, he'll be okay. Now watch the side. Oh, he didn't quite get enough. He's bouncing around on the floor.
89.
Didn't quite get into that, but he can still pot it in the middle. Wasn't his intention.
Good recovery. Very good.
91.
He may be losing 12, what looks like 12-6 in frames, but he's 12-10 in front in centuries if he can clear from here.
94.
It could be the 67th century of the Crucible. Remember, 68's the record, so the record could go in this final.
98.
Mark Selby, the blue, for his 12th century here at the Crucible this year.
Well done, Mark Selby.
103.
Well, whatever happens in this final, we know he's come to
109.
fight, and that was missing yesterday. It's not missing today. As he fluted in the middle, it was only a 34 break that won him the opening frame, but a great 109 break to win the second. He's getting his way back into the match with still a lot to do. He trails by 12 frames to 6.
As we say at the start of the session, I mean, lots of people were saying, well, would we go into the evening? He needed 6 frames of the 8 that was going to play this afternoon, and the way last evening went, that looked a possibility. But we will be here this evening. How many frames we'll be playing? Will be determined on how many frames Mark Selby wins in this session. And with pots like that, it could be quite a few.
Well, the thing about Mark Selby at the moment as well is that everything's going in the middle of the pocket. And there's nothing that gives you more confidence than hearing the sound of the ball going to the back of the pocket rather than off the jaws. Choice of reds he can play for here off the brown. Obviously the one nearest the black spot will pot, otherwise he won't have played it round. He needs to be on it straight, and if he is on it straight, he can get the black into play.
5.
But where will the black go? Possibly on the green spot, which is not really going to help.
I think he'll just settle for that positional shot, will he? He's got the the pink that's available, the blue on its spot. And with that red, he's got a 30-point lead. I don't think he'd be too concerned about losing the black. Well, does it spot? Does it not? I don't think so. Although I've said that before this week, and all of a sudden the referee has found a place for it. But as I say, I wouldn't be too bothered about the black. He's got the pink to play with and the blue, enough reds in the open. Don't make things too complicated.
$13.
I'm just wondering if the pink spot is covered by the two reds. He'd like to get rid of it is. I'd like to see him get rid of the red on the black spot now, just in case he pots the pink, because he doesn't want to have the pink up the other end of the table as well. So he definitely shouldn't play for the pink off this red. Yeah, it's good thinking, because he wants the
14.
pink to come on the black spot. So ideally, would like to pot the blue, get on the red on the black spot, and then it doesn't matter if he pots the pink or black, it'll be back in play. This is very good thinking, very good break building, and now he can get rid of this red. It doesn't matter what colour he plays on now. If it's
90.
the pink, it goes on the black spot. If he plays with the black or blue, that's fine. Pink is the ideal one to play for now. Get it on the black spot, that's perfect.
$20.
A little bit of a risk there going up for the black, but he's come inch perfect. Pots the black, goes 51 points in front. Couple of reds, couple of colours to continue this amazing comeback.
John Higgins went 40 minutes earlier on in the match without potting a ball. It's nearly an hour since he potted his last ball.
Not the best positional shot, that. To play
27.
for the red in between the pink and blue, but wanted to be straight on it. And that was the problem with going up for the black. Just got that cue ball travelling a little bit further than you would like.
Good pot. I honestly don't think he was aware at the time, John, that possibly
28.
the pink would have gone back onto the black spot. I think sometimes you can get really involved and just making sure you're not making any mistakes. It was a chance he missed there, but he's still in control. And only two reds away from winning the frame.
Yes, if you can pot this yellow and play for this red to the right corner. He's played for the one to the left corner, and he's played it nicely.
30.
Once he pots this red, there'll only be 59 remaining, so this red and a koa would do. In
31.
goes the red, nicely on the blue. Pot the blue to go 60 points in front with only 59 left on the table.
Oh, this is
36.
remarkable. Mark Selby was 100 to 1 to win this match last night on the betting exchanges.
37.
100 to 1. He won't be 100 to 1 now.
$42. 42 on the frame.
Well, John
Mark
Higgins
Selby.
acknowledges defeat in yet another frame. It was only a 42 break this time, but he'd already had 20 odd points on the board. He's creeping back into the match, but he still trails 12-9.
Tremendous fortitude from Selby, who shared the next 2 frames. He remains very much in contention. Dennis Taylor remains in commentary, where he's joined by John Virgo.
The red passes the blue, and the other red may look safe, but it is potable up that cushion. So this very big shot for Mark Selby.
Well, what a tremendous shot that was. To screw across the table and hold for the black was just top draw, and he's got a perfect angle to get on the last red.
Eight.
Terrific red.
Nine.
One good positional shot on the yellow. He may decide to screw off the left-hand side cushion here. I don't know if he can get round the back of the black, but if he can get nicely on the yellow, he's favourite for the frame.
If he can screw over to the side cushion with right-hand side, that's the sort of angle he would take. He may be able to run round off a couple of cushions round the back of the black. It just depends on the angle. I think around the back of the black probably is a better option. That was the other option, to run it around the back of the black. So it just depends how he feels. He's got the screw shot or the run round. It seems to be just a little bit in between both shots. It's running around the angles. He's playing with the way he's striking the top of the cue ball. Doesn't want to hit the pink. Well, it just means now that it's such a delicate shot to pot the yellow and hold for
40.
the green.
Well, I suppose with the angle he's got, he may screw across. John Higgins, nothing he can do, just got to sit there and watch. Well, once again, look at the way he's got in that cue
16.
ball and screwed across from the side cushion and back again. That's cue power. If he pots the green and gets on the brown, the frame's at his mercy. He's not on the brown.
19.
Not good anyway.
Wow. It's a very, very thin cut to the corner. It's a thin cut to the middle. If he goes to the corner, watch the cue ball. It's got to come up this end and back again towards the blue. It looks good. Where's that cue ball? It's near the middle pocket, but it looks perfect to me. What a shot.
33.
Well, he put his hand up and apologised to John Higgins. I don't know why. He'd have been unlucky if it had gone in off. Pink and black needed.
28.
What character he's showing here.
After an early 43 break from John Higgins, he always looked favourite, but Mark Selby will not be deterred. A break of 41, and he closes the gap once again to 2. He trails 13-11.
No player has ever fought back from more than 10-6 adrift after day one of the final. On this evidence, stubborn Selby could be a trailblazer. He was 8 frames down, now he's only 2 behind.
This time he hasn't got away with it. One good positional shot from John Higgins here, and he'll give himself a terrific chance. There's 3 or 4 reds he can drop on. And he doesn't have to worry about the pink up the other end. He can concentrate
4.
on blacks here.
Five. Twelve. 13. 20. 21.
53 the
28.
difference. Just a couple of reds and colours would be enough.
29.
So that long red that Mark went for and missed has cost him the frame. Suppose he was a little bit unlucky to bring it back up the table, but that always can happen. So just the red.
36. 37.
Frame should be safe now, and the black will mean it'll be, well, 3 snookers needed. Played a few loose safety shots here, John Higgins. Mark Selby didn't punish him.
44. 45.
And winning this frame gives him a 3-frame cushion.
$48. 49. 48 on the frame. John
Mark
Higgins.
Selby stays in his seat. John Higgins with that break of 48 was enough to give him the frame. He extends his lead to 14-11. He's 4 away from victory.
Frame 26 was scrappy. It lasted 33 minutes, but the end result was mighty beneficial to Selby, back within 2 frames. The next is tight.
There's another good safety, I think. I think he's covered it. Well, he can get through the gap, and it is cuttable.
Well, it is cuttable. What a shot this would be if he could pull it off. Well, believe it or not, that's the possibility. He could cut the green in, and that's the sort of angle the white would take. But what a shot it would be if he pulled it off. Gotta be careful of the middle pocket if he gets a little trace aside on it. Oh. A timely sneeze there, quite accidental. Mark still having a little smile to himself. Almost to perfection, just a little bit short of pace. But he's got the initiative. He can get a snooker here. The blue and pink are ideally placed.
Mark Selby 3.
Advantage Mark Selby. And once again, John's got to try and hit the brown, and somehow has got to try and get it safe.
Yeah, so once again having to play it at pace, because he can't play it just gently, because he would push the brown towards the top corner. So he's going to have to play this at a decent pace. That's miss number 1.
Foul and a miss.
There could be a few here.
Mark Selby 4.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times he goes off the 2 cushions. If he doesn't hit the brown, a miss will be called, because there's an easier escape across the table. But John doesn't want to play that.
Once to the right,
Foul
once
and
to
a
the
miss.
left. If this white
Mark
bounces, I don't know whether the brown's cuttable. Certainly not cuttable, but I don't think Mark should bother getting out of his seat for a moment until he hits it.
I never like it when you get this sort of situation at the end of a frame, when you get into the miss. He's missed it again, and this
Foul
could be a
and a
free
miss.
ball. Well, this could change things.
Mark Selby 4.
No free ball, so back again. It's so difficult to judge the 2 cushion escape here, because the brown is nowhere near a cushion.
There's 3 more misses, Dennis, and he'll need a snooker, and that's the point you were making, isn't it? That it's a shame that sometimes the miss rule can probably cost you the frame.
Foul and a miss.
So now he's got 2 more misses, and Selby
Mark Selby 4.
could win the frame without playing another shot.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the rule that I don't like, because John is doing everything in his power to try and hit the brown here. He's potted it!
4.
Quite amazing. He's potted it and he snookered himself. Talking about good luck and bad luck all rolled into one, and he needs another bit of good luck here.
Foul and a miss.
Yeah,
John Higgins
miscalled.
4, Mark Selby 5.
Well, what a difference that makes. He can only tie.
John's last attempt, the cushions, when you play it at that pace, they're so difficult to judge when you really force them. And now he's got to hit this blue. Well, it's not an easy pot by any means. There's a little bit of pressure on this. Well, it's a great blue in the end.
5.
We've been playing this frame for almost 55 minutes, but what a good blue to clinch it. John Higgins, 21 points in fouls.
Mark Selby 5.
John
On the frame.
signaling to the referee. He's lost that long tactical battle, and Mark Selby is now just one frame behind at 14-13. What a match.
It's past midnight local time, and the winning post is still some way distant.
Now this is a real test of character, this one.
One.
Terrific pot under the circumstances. And a chance to drop on a choice of reds here. He's played it well.
Six.
Maybe a little straight, but I think he can get to the black if he screws back off the cushion, just past his hand at the moment. Has he overdone it? He has. That's just pure adrenaline. Played for the black, taking the blue. The cannon on the yellow. Well, I thought it was going to spoil it, but there is a red possible.
12.
Played up the other side of the bunch, but the cannon took the white to where it is.
Yes, he can still screw it around two cushions and hold for the blue here.
13.
That's a possibility, of course, as well. Now, does he have the angle on the black to be able to stun over for the red in the same corner? If the angle's there, that's what he'd be trying to do. Just enough. Every time John Higgins has been put under the utmost pressure in this final, albeit
20.
not at his best, he has responded.
21.
He definitely has to go into them this time because there's a loose red there and he would finish on that, but let's see what sort of pace he plays it at. He slid off them. He didn't get enough screw on that. The white wouldn't have spun away
28.
like that. Played it with lots of left-hand side, but You see, he wanted to catch that red full ball.
The safety's not straightforward now either. He can't get back into baulk. He may just play the thin one in behind the black.
John Higgins, 28.
Purposely been playing behind the black to leave the easy safety shot for Mark. There's a chance of getting him behind the yellow, but it's slightly risky because he could go in off, of course, but I think it's worth the risk here.
Well, normally you would say the player with the most experience would come through in the end. John, this is his third final. He won it in '98. He was runner-up in 2001, lost 18-14 to Ronnie O'Sullivan. But having said all that, Mark Selby has played so well throughout this. Is the experience going to be enough? I don't know.
Well, he's got a shot to nothing on round the back of the bunch, but depending on how aggressive he felt, he could play the little screw into the bunch and be on the black and bring other reds into play. He may just use it as a holding shot. I'm not too sure whether they can hold it without playing into the pack. That's excellent. Unlucky. He played the right shot there, trying to get into the pack. Just caught them half ball. If he'd have caught those full ball, he would have split them and also been nicely on the black. A little bit unlucky, that one.
That was the best he could do there with the angle he had on the black.
8.
So he's faced with another long pot. And somehow he's got to try and get onto the black. The white will be heading over towards black and red. Can he pot it? Can he find the gap? It's a bit too hard. He hit that so well, but it seemed to come off the side cushion with a lot of speed. But how well did he strike that? Well, it seemed to come off the cushion a lot quicker than it went onto it.
Mark Selby, 9.
Played a really aggressive shot there, trying to tuck the cue ball in behind the yellow, but it's actually been second best because he's slightly hampered John with the cueing. A little careful here, he doesn't push the red over the corner in playing this. He played half ball. Just hope that it comes back into the middle of the table, and he has played it nicely.
Well, John's eyeing up the possibility of taking this long pot on. He knows he could finish on green or brown. It's very, very risky, but he did look at it. did attempt the pot there, but everything's safe. The red he missed. It's gone into the bunch.
Surprised he didn't play the slightly thicker safety shot there. The thin one can always go wrong, and if you can get through to the potting angle of the red that's just below the black, he'll take it on. Don't know whether you can see enough of it. Possibly not. No, can't see enough of it. I don't think the one to the right of the black will pass the pink. This is an excellent safety shot. I know some of the frames may seem a little pedestrian at the moment, but I can assure you some of the safety has been top draw. Okay, it's great to see 100 breaks all the time, and this is the World Championship. Both players are going to be here as long as possible to make sure they win.
Just a terrific shot there. Absolutely terrific shot. He needed the thinnest of contacts so as he didn't push a red over the right corner pocket. I'll just let you have another look at that safety shot just to see how good it was. Now, how thin did he have to hit this? Otherwise he'd have careered into the pink. Okay, to get in behind the brown was a bonus, but to miss the pink was superb. Well, this is dangerous. This is very dangerous. Because it didn't matter how he played that shot, he was going to leave one. And I think John can just get out onto the pink. He's made very few mistakes in his safety and escapes, but that wasn't the best one there. I'm sure he could have seen another shot. Shot he tried there, I mean, he's got to nestle on that red on the right side of it as we look at it, otherwise he was bound to leave a pot on there.
So
well, that's not the best shot he's ever played. Pot in the middle or the corner on, but he's betwixt and between here. If it had been the early frames of the match, you'd have said this was a certainty.
eight.
Played it nicely, that. There's a gap just by the pink, and if he plays the joint of the reds, the two reds and the single red, if he plays that joint, he's got every chance of putting all the reds on in one shot. Hit it full ball. He needs a bit of help, and he's got a bit of help. That's an excellent shot, and there you see all the reds on in one shot, and that's the reason that shot
13
was the right time to play it, because that one shot has given him a chance to win the frame at one visit, and we haven't had a frame like that for 2 or 3 hours where
14.
somebody's won in one visit.
Yes, they were all blocking each other, so he needed the cannon there. But as all great champions do, when they're put under pressure, they respond. Mark Selby back to just one frame behind.
20.
And John Higgins is responding.
$21.
Already 40 points in front. Mark will know that this frame is certainly slipping away. Can't see John making a mistake here. Well, he's straight on the pink, but a little bit of angle and it would have been much easier.
27.
I think he can miss the cannon on the red and get back for the pink here. Well, he didn't miss the
28.
cannon on the red coming back. Can you believe it? A quick look around at the scoreboard. He didn't get any side on it. He just... Well, he can't believe it.
Just when we thought we were going to have a frame finishing relatively quickly, this now could be another long one, because Selby obviously going to now be making sure he gets back into the frame. 3 reds, 3 colours, we're getting right back into it.
Ooh.
Playing the blue, so obviously not playing the pot, he's just playing the safety.
John Higgins, 28.
He sacrificed a good safety to make sure he put the blue safe. That was more important. There was no point in trying to get a snooker there. The blue is invaluable on that side cushion from John's point of view. He even left a sort of shot to nothing for Mark. The red to the right of the pink. He'll have a go at potting it. That's a pretty good result there, because he hit it too thin. That white would have went in and out of balk, but in the middle pocket angle took it over to the yellow.
Mark can just about get through to the potting angle of the red below the pink, and that's the not a bad one to play. You can take this on. Possible baulk colour only you can play for. Here's the view on Hawkeye, and you can see there's just enough room to get through to it. Oh dear, whatever you do, don't make contact with the ball when trying to get back into baulk, and if he's left anything straight forward it should be under frame, but I'm not too sure whether you can see the one to the right of the pink. That would be the easiest one to play. That must be covered. So the other 2 shots, there's the one that's covered. The other 2 shots are not a 10 out of 10.
Well, I was going to say the bit of good news for John is that red's gone safe, but that was definitely a chance to clinch the frame. But I'm just looking at the angle Mark has on this pot red. I'm just wondering if he'll play into the red that John knocked safe. Cannon it out. Well, does the black
One.
pass the brown? Even if it does, and it clearly does, the green's in the way to get round for the red there that's to the right of the pink.
appears to have a nice shot on the brown to screw back, but there's every chance he could snooker himself on with the pink with the loose red. So the deep screw on the brown is the best positional shot. He's now looking at the black. He's going to have to be leaving the red at distance playing the black. He can't get close to this red. So red at distance it is.
But at least he's got the black back up onto its spot, which gives him a
8.
chance to pop this red and get on the black. If he overhits it, the pink's there. There's so many talking points in every frame that's being played now. John pushed the blue
60.
safe, then he had a chance to win the frame. Missed that red with the extension. One that he normally would knock in. That's just pure tension and pressure. We're getting everything here. Late night at the Crucible. Just a few minutes away from midnight, and doesn't he look determined?
This is all about the angle he gets on the black to whether he can bring the red into play. No, does he have the angle to screw into the red? I don't think so. Bit of value possibly leaving the double here where the balls are.
He's played for the possibility of the double because he will
24.
automatically come up onto the black.
Yes, there's one thing was certain. If he was 24 in front, he wouldn't be playing the double. But the fact that he's 24 behind, he may not get a better chance to pot this red than this. And he'll be nicely on the black. As long as he's not straight on the black, black to yellow is not a real problem. So this is a massive shot.
Mark Selby,
Yeah, the
24.
perfect angle on the black to play black to yellow. Now does John Higgins attempt the long red?
I'm just looking where he did leave the white, Willie. He could have potted the black and cannoned the blue out and still have been on the yellow. So what an important double that would have been. And that's all history.
Because John Higgins is 24 in front and because the blue's safe, this is worth a little dip at this red. 23, of course, not 22, but it's still red and colour would be enough. Oh, what a pot. What a pot. Unlucky though, not on a colour. Not on a colour. What about the long, slow brown, Dennis? The fact that it's game ball.
I think he's going to put another colour safe here, Willie, and yeah, he could have possibly have taken the brown, but let's get as many safe as possible.
John Higgins 1.
Nothing wrong with that shot. The fact that he's 24 in front, of course, means that Mark Selby has to hit this yellow, otherwise we need a snooker. So that's almost as valuable as potting the brown. If this wasn't tight on the cushion, playing off the top cushion would be easy, because he could get the side on to hit the yellow. But because it's tight on the cushion, he may play an alternative route.
And that's the alternative route that I can see that'll get him to the yellow, but he needs to play it with lots of side.
played, and his crack's a little bit unfortunate there. He almost played the shot to perfection. Amazingly enough, you may think it's strange, but he did play to get the wide hidden behind the green there. This is frame ball. This to go too clear once again.
Two.
And a chance to send the green around the angles and try and get that white in behind the blue.
Caught it too thick. So Mark Selby
Higgins two.
just needs the one snooker, and there's plenty of frames been won this week with one snooker.
And it's a very good morning to all you snooker followers. The Crucible Theatre at its best. Doesn't want the cannon on the brown.
Got a really high success rate on balls in this pocket. That may be the commentator's curse, but he played 2 or 3 reds in this pocket plain ball. If he plays it plain ball, I think he'll come very close to potting this. Well, didn't even attempt it. Now that just surprised me, to be honest. That was only a half ball green.
Pointing to the green there, he's got to swerve around the black. If he doesn't catch this right, the white could go up into the corner pocket. I think I'd worry more about the white than the green here. He's hoping that the green comes off the corner of the middle pocket, but he's got to be careful with the white because the side will spin it towards that corner pocket. Oh, he played it well though. Not a snooker, but a pretty good effort.
Well, I'm still in shock that John Higgins didn't attempt the pot on the last green. The fact that if he pots the green, of course, Selby needs 2 snookers. Good safety.
This to make absolutely certain of a 2-frame advantage once again.
Three.
29-point lead. Unlikely that Mark Selby will come back to the table, but you never know. He won't be coming back now. That's an excellent pot from John Higgins. First time in the match there hasn't been a break above 30 in a frame.
12.
The fact that there's no big breaks won't worry John Higgins. He's got himself 2 in front again. He's getting ever closer to the winning line. He now leads by 15 frames to 13.
Pretty good weight with a safety shot. John popped out and someone just managed to get to the steps there and asked for an autograph, which is quite unusual at this stage of a world final, but Mark duly obliged. The gentleman that he is. I don't think it would happen in any other sport. there you go. That's the great game of snooker.
Mark was just about to deliver the cue there where somebody coughed in the audience, and he just put a thumbs up to him as if to say, well, you may have not done it on purpose, but I was right on the shot there. But I bet he's glad that he stopped on the shot, but albeit a great red, which should be worth more than one, but that's all he's going to get.
Green ball. Mark Selby 1.
Just got up and I think it was a friendly little gesture. What a red he knocked in after that. John will just be playing a safety shot here, no attempt at the pot. Well, his manager said he was just going to go out and enjoy himself. He certainly seems to have done that, and it has been a remarkable comeback. He's just catching a few of those safeties a little bit on the thin side, is John. He's left a possible pot on, but the pink's tied up, the black's tied up. So there's not a lot of value in the red. But he's still going to take it on, and he needs a terrific bit of cueing here to get onto the blue. What a shot. What a shot.
1.
I can't start to tell you how well he's hit that to get that angle on the blue and give himself a chance to go into the pink and reds. That is cueing perfectly. And if this next shot works out onto the pink, full ball would be very good here. It's amazing the reaction he gets.
6.
That particular shot. He's potted the blue, he's screwed into the pink, and look where the white's finished. You can still chip this red in, but I watched the white. Okay, the red to the left of it helped him to get back there, but amazing cue power.
And the fact that he's so near the cushion makes this red missable. It wouldn't be missable if he get his hand on the table. Should be okay, but it's a lot more difficult from there. Good shot. You saw him actually take the cue off the bridge hand because he thought he was hitting it too thick. He was trying to will the white over to the potting angle of the red on the way down, and he'll be pleased to see he's got a chance at the brown. Just watch his cue here. He thought he was hitting it too thick. He'll be pleased to see the result now. If this brown goes in, he's back in prime position. Good shot.
11. $12.
Well, another superb positional shot. He has the choice
14.
here of playing for the pink. If the pink is potable after it goes back onto its spot, play for the pink. If it's not, play for the blue to open some more reds. Yeah, that's why he's gone up for the blue. You see, it was so simple
15.
to play for the pink, but he's decided to try. No, not necessary to go into them here because of the two reds that will pot. But I think there's plenty of value to do so. If there's not a plant on, get into those reds and try and win the frame at one visit.
Let's just show you that red he potted previously. This one here, we'll swing it round and show you where he hit the white to get the cue ball back. That's where he's had to hit the white, follow through, and it was quite amazing the shot that he pulled off there. If the reds go to the right corner, it's a terrific split.
20.
And that was why it's so important of the previous shot. He decided to play for the blue rather than the pink. And I always say in commentary, when you play the right shot, play the split, you deserve to get what you get. And this could be a frame winner.
21.
Perfectly played. And really, I suppose you'd have to say this is the first chance that Mark's had in amongst the pink and black.
27.
We've had a few frames where the balls have gone a little bit awkward.
28.
But I think he showed the bottle he has when he played Sean Murphy in the deciding frame. He won that with one visit, a break of 64. So he can handle the pressure, this young player from Leicester.
Listen, if you were looking at the breaks, you'd think this has been a poor quality match, but it's just the way the balls have split. This is the first time I can remember this evening where I thought, oh, somebody can win a frame at one visit. The highest break in the last 4 frames has been like 48. Because the balls have gone very awkward. Black and pink safe. Black's still safe. But the pink's in play.
34.
That's a very, very good shot. The reason he had to get high on the pink so he didn't have to do too much with the cue ball. He's about one shot away from making this a certain frame winner. And that's once he clears the path for... There's about 2 more reds that pot easily. And he needs to get on them in the right-hand corner.
41. $42.
That's come a little bit further than he intended there. Just means he's got a little bit more to do with the cue ball. Straighter on the pink would have been ideal. Just a little rap on the table tells you that it's not as nice as it could have been.
Yes, as I mentioned a few moments ago, everything pots in the same right-hand corner pocket rather than the left. If this wasn't such a tense situation, he'd play round the back of the black off 3 cushions, but he'd have to play it quite firm to do that. When you're in this kind of position, you want to roll everything in and give the pocket every chance. Well, the pink's high. The pink's high. The way it's played that, I presume that the red pot's behind the black. I don't think he's on anything here. I don't think he would be on a red.
That red definitely won't go past the black, so he must have mishit the pink because... Well, what red did he play for? Let's have a look at the shot again. White. Did he play it with side to try and get on a red? This is a thin snick. He's got it though. Oh, the cannon on the brown. Well, I thought it had spoiled it, but it hasn't. And one good positional shot here. And John Higgins is in around the reds. And this is where it hurts a player, because Mark Selby will have to sit and watch John in the position that he would have been in. Now, this looks pretty good to me. Look where he's put the white. He's given himself a choice of reds into the right corner pocket and the one into the left. Black's still a little bit awkward at the moment with that red next to it.
Yes, if it had been slightly off straight on the red that's just above the black, he'd have run through and moved the red out of the way. That's not on, so he's going to have to play for the pink here. This red, of course, is opening a path for another red, so as long as he doesn't finish straight on the pink, he needs to get quite high with the cue ball.
6.
How is he high enough? If he's straight, he's going to have to leave red at distance. Needs an angle to come on and off the cushion. Well, he can screw back off that line. Played that well. That could be a frame winner, that, because the next 3 or 4 reds and pinks get him right back into the frame with a chance of winning it at one visit, albeit he was 43 behind when he came to the table.
13.
It's all about that red that's to the right of the black. That is going to be key ball.
19.
So it's not straightforward by any means just yet. And under these circumstances, as we've seen in the past, it's amazing what can go wrong.
John's come round to see if the black will pot in the corner, and the way he's played that cue ball, it will. And the reason he's played that is he can flick the other red into play now. If this goes right, he could go 3 clear again. Just a little screw shot, just hit the red thin, bounce the white on and off the cushion. Cleverly played, but it's slightly gone astray.
$27. Yeah, okay.
Well, this is a delicate little shot he's playing here. He's very close to the red. Played it well. And the
28.
right side of the blue.
So you can play this slow with check side. Just keep an eye on the white. If he plays it plain ball, he'll be drifting away from the red. He'll play it nice and slowly with check side. Just to slow the white down. Just watch the white straighten up a little bit. There it is. Just has to be careful now.
33.
And he'll go 16-13 in front.
The only slightly awkward ball was the green, and look what John Higgins has played for to get it back on its spot. That was clever thinking. All the colours on their spots now.
37.
Normally a formality, but these are not normal circumstances.
$39.
You can hear a pin drop in the Crucible at the moment.
$42.
Well, this undoubtedly the best frame of the evening, and possibly the most important as far as Mark Selby is concerned. He clawed his way back into in one frame, and then John Higgins
46.
has a chance now winning 2 on the trot for the first time for ages.
$51.
John Higgins responded with that magnificent clearance of 57, and it puts him 3 clear, 16-13, but he still needs 2.
Selby still smiling away there after he broke off. He looked up to some of his pals in the crowd and smiled away, so he still fancies the job.
Well, there's Josephine, John's mum. She was pleased that he took that last frame, and so was Pierce. He's still enjoying himself, Mark Selby. Another trick shot, you would have to say, and almost got himself onto the black.
Well, Higgins looked at the referee there, and probably the fact that he didn't get on the black, he didn't question it. I think he was wondering whether it was a push shot. If he had got on the black, he may have questioned it.
Yeah, the fact the white come backwards, but yeah, you can even push the shot and get the white to come backwards. That's where the tip, the cue ball and the object ball are all in contact at the same time.
Mark Selby 1.
Purposely left the edge of the pack, knowing that John Higgins is going to have to play possibly a little bit more aggressive safety shot. That's John Higgins' highest break since the 23rd frame, when he made a 58 break in winning that one. That was the first break of a 50 since then. But he's played an excellent safety again. Excellent safety. plenty of reds he can see, but he feels that it's better to play the roll-up. It's pretty good. No value in the pot. If the black had been on its spot, he'd have probably played the pot, but as there's no chance of getting onto a colour. He can't hide the cue ball behind any colour here, so he's going to have to just get good length of cue ball. Did his best to get in behind the yellow, but it didn't look from our commentary position that he could get in behind that. Mark Selby's turn to possibly play a thick safety. Is there a possible 3-ball plant on? Well, it's actually a 4-ball plant. He thinks it's very close, and we've seen him play some very, very good shots over the last few days. They're not too bad, and he's going to have to play the front red onto those. He can't get to that 3-redded plant direct. So it's a 4-ball plant.
Well, if this goes in, the crowd will enjoy it. Now, where's the white going to finish? The green is coming to the rescue. And I can't see a way for John to knock one red onto a red that's over the pocket. There might be a possibility, but what has he spotted here? Can he get through to the potting angle?
And he's trying to kiss into the 3 reds to hold for the black, Dennis, as well. He's just come round to look at the angle. What about that for a shot?
Didn't look as if he could pass the blue, but he could. And that's a superb shot from John Higgins. It really is. Could just get past the blue.
If he wasn't hampered, this black would be a certainty. As you can see, he's queuing over the red, but he's still potted the black, and those last 2 shots were absolutely top draw.
Eight.
He's looking much fresher. He's looking much more confident.
Nine.
He's got the 3-frame cushion. 2 more to win his 2nd world title.
$15. $16.
That's what every snooker player's ambition is, to win that trophy. There's a good few names on it.
21.
An awful lot of names missing from it.
Yes, I never had the chance of winning it. Never got to past the semi-final in this one, and Mark Selby's
22.
done that, and maybe his title hopes are slightly slipping away here. This is a chance now for John Higgins to go 4 clear again. And I can't remember Selby missing an easy ball. The first 2 pots he played in this break, out of this world.
He now can use that red that's over the pocket. He may have to
29.
use the spider here and plant one red onto the other, but it's pretty straightforward. He's called for the spider to get him over the red. No real problem here, and an angle to get on the black. Well, he finished up double kissing it in. Wasn't
13.
quite as he intended. he wanted to hit the red on the right side, and thankfully the double kiss took it in the pocket.
May play the cannon on the 3 reds here purely because he knows whatever happens he's got the other red, but he's going to possibly leave another plant. He's got the one in the middle as well. Felt that he can get into those 3 reds any time at all.
37.
Oh, this could be back-to-back clearances. The 57, of course, came
38.
in one visit to win. This could be a sizable break again in one visit to win. We haven't had many of them this evening.
$43. 44.
He may decide to play the kiss this time on the 3 reds, and remember a few moments ago he had the same angle with the red right over the pocket. Now this could go wrong. Played it nicely. This bottom red pots, and that opens the other 2.
51.
Now he has got a chance. I wasn't aware that red potted. It's perfect.
$52.
There's a bit of a spring in
59.
John Higgins' step now.
$60.
It looks as if Mark Selby is going to have to win 5 in a row. So he's not going to be out of it. We watched this afternoon as he won 6 frames in a row, but
66.
it's going to be a mountain to climb. But this is great stuff from the former world champion.
57.
Well, we've averaged until the last 2 frames over half an hour a frame. The last 2 frames 17 minutes, and this one of about 12 minutes, and Higgins has won them both.
74. $75. $82.
Well, it's just coming up to 20 to 1 in the morning. Could we have a century?
83.
That would be another record, Willie. That would be, I think, the latest century's ever been made in the Crucible Theatre. And if he does make a century, it would tie the record.
90. $91.
2002, we had 68 centuries here at the Crucible Theatre.
Yes, the standard has been excellent, and these 2 men alone have made, if he makes one here, 21
96.
between them.
$97.
Just got to be a little careful here. Needs to miss the kiss on the brown. The key thing will be potting the blue, of course. He's just missed the brown. Well played, John Higgins. With his back against the wall, he's produced 2 clinical
102.
clearances, 57 in the previous frame from 42 behind, and a century in this.
104.
That's the sign of a true world-class player.
107. $111.
Possible 129, which is already Higgins' highest break of this match so far. The 111 he's got at the moment is the highest. It was previously 106.
116.
The pace of John Higgins in the last two frames has gone up some 3 or 4 seconds a shot.
122.
Critical frames just when he needed it most. John Higgins made 57 to make it 16-13. He made 129 to make it 17-13. He's one away from the championship.
One naughty supporter shouted out just on the shot there, it very rarely happens in the Crucible Theatre. And here we go with an attempt at a Mark Selby special. There was a possible long red on for John Higgins, but the red that Mark Selby played came all the way around the table and blocked the path for that one. So just a safety.
What a difference. The cue ball going forward a foot, coming back a foot, it would have been an easy pot. Okay, the yellow's on, but near the cushion it's tough. It's easy to hit these thick. I've got to be so careful putting a little bit of side on these.
Mark Selby won.
Little bit of unwanted side on it. Has he got away with it? Has he covered everything? The red next to the pink pots.
Well, an excellent pot from John Higgins. The red to the left of the pink pots if he just wants to roll the blue in. The black spot's covered. So not guaranteed yet to get into a position to win the frame at this visit. All the reds are covering one another at the moment.
Six. 7.
He's going to lose the black here for a moment. It's going to go up on the yellow spot, I think. Can't see whether the pink spot's covered. I'm sure the pink's on its own spot. Well, I can only think that he actually tried to move the pink away from its spot. He held his hand up. The pace he played that, Dennis, you think he played it
14.
clear the pink spot? We'll probably get a chance to show you that black again in a second, because it was played very weirdly.
15.
Well, we'll just give you another look at the shot he played there. Let's have a look. He certainly didn't play to cannon that red, and he just held his hand up there. It's turned out very nicely. Once again, they're not ideally placed. They're all sort of covering each other into both corners, and the yellow's in the way slightly also.
Yeah. 21.
John Higgins' pace is still the same as it was the two previous frames when he gets ever closer to the winning line, should he. He may get a little bit of tension in his arm. Remember the game against Stephen Maguire in the last frame? Struggled a little bit there, but he looks very confident at the moment. Mark Selby has played so well in this tournament.
22.
Played 90% of his career at my family's club in Leicester, and I knew this was the one he missed. Saw him come up in the junior ranks and played at my club for about 10 years until he moved to another one just recently, and he's improved out of all proportion.
How's your luck, John? It's not bad at all.
27. $28.
32 points ahead, Mark. Well,
33.
will he get another chance?
$34.
Played an unbelievable 3-ball plant and then missed. Well, it was a tricky yellow the way he tried to play it.
Amazing how the standard the last three frames has just gone back as it has been all week, where there's been pot after pot after pot, having had some 5 hours of play with a high break of 50.
41.
All of a sudden, it's incredible how they've improved.
Yeah, John back at 91%, and you would have to say this is where the experience has counted. He has played in 3 World Finals, and it looks likely that it's going to be 2 out of 3.
43.
It's an unusual position, isn't it, for the yellow, but as all the spots are covered, it has to go nearest its own spot, black side of the table. But that won't worry John Higgins,
44.
because he can win frame, match and championship from just the pink alone.
We had 2 remarkable semi-finals. The final looked as if it wasn't going to take off.
50.
John Higgins dominated early on. But Mark Selby made a remarkable comeback.
51.
He will be feeling absolutely fantastic inside. There's no
56.
better feeling in the world walking around when you know you've just become world champion, and he's almost there.
57.
There's the match time, just over 12 hours, and that's a record also. The John Higgins supporters know that that's the one. And look at the smile on his
face. 64.
Spur of thought for Mark Selby. He has made this an incredible final. Late night drama again at the Crucible.
Surely we can't finish with back-to-back centuries. That would be unbelievable. Because
70.
of course it would be a new record at 69 if he did. Also it would be 12 centuries each with Selby and Higgins.
John Higgins won't be too concerned about a century break. He's just enjoying the moment. It's great that you can walk around and knock a few balls in and know you've already won the world title. He has been the most consistent player. Mark Selby has played fantastic
77.
throughout, but over the 17 days you would have to say John Higgins was the most consistent.
78.
Led 12-4. Mark Selby puts his arms around him. He made a terrific fight of it. He got back to just one behind at 14-13. But it's John Higgins who wins the 2007 888.com World Championship. And there's young Pearce. He'll be very proud of his dad indeed. Fantastic.
Selby was game, but John Higgins was the class act of the championship. His namesake Alex Higgins went 10 years between world titles. The Scot ends a 9-year wait to again caress the trophy. He also collects $430,000 and starts next season at the top of the world rankings. Snooker-wise, that's as good as it gets. It was a gripping climax to a high-quality event, and the major beneficiary, a mightily relieved family man from Wishaw, Scotland. The man they called the Wizard was Magic. From the Crucible Theatre, from Sheffield, and from the 888.com World Championship, it's goodbye.